So, the barriers to entry in a business which we have seen so far are economy of scale, capital cost, differentiation, distribution network, switching cost, brands. The next one is price disadvantage independent of scale. Now, this is reverse of economy of scale. This is reverse of economy of scale. Sometimes you get a price advantage even though you may not have the biggest of the, for example, it can come because of intellectual property rights such as patents. Now, biggest company in India now is Abbott Laboratories, but Cipla, which has the intellectual property rights of Tamiflu, will have an advantage. Sometimes there is a locational advantage. For example, there are hotels close to the airport which have an advantage of a walk-in customer. Or in Agra, those hotels where the rooms are facing Taj Mahal, they can charge 20% more tariffs. In the same hotel, the rooms which look away from Taj Mahal are 20% cheaper. It is a cost disadvantage independent of scale. And the last is government policies. The government of India puts restriction in many areas, especially where there is a strategic importance is there. You cannot enter into the business, for example, in atomic energy. But over Indian Railways, Post, government wants to keep its monopoly. It's a government policy. Let us see, rivalry among existing companies depends upon the stability of the environment, life expectancy of a competitive advantage. We have seen competitive advantage is only for few years, typically 5 to 7 years. By that time, your competitors will start imitating your product. Characteristic to the strategies pursued by the competitors. How aggressive are the competitors? That is what determines. So, we have seen intense rivalry among existing players. Now, the bargaining power of the sellers. Sellers are suppliers. The factors are importance of buyers to the supplier group. For example, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited is a major supplier to Indian Air Force. So, they have some bargaining power. Or Chittaranjan Locomotive Works is the only engine supplier to the Indian Railways. They have the bargaining power of the suppliers. Importance of suppliers' product to the buyers. Third is a greater concentration among the suppliers than amongst the buyers. And next, high switching cost and credible threat of forward integration by the suppliers. The last one is the most important, credible threat of forward integration by the supplier. We have seen bargaining power of the suppliers. Now the opposite, bargaining power of the buyers. Undifferentiated or standard products. Second is customers' price sensitivity. Third, information about the cost of the suppliers. Now, if you know how much cost the suppliers have, you can force him down to reduce his cost. Greater concentration of buyer industry than the supplier industry. So, if the buyers are in one place, they can dictate terms. And the last but the most important, credible threat of the backward integration by buyer. Credible threat of a backward integration by the buyer. Threat of substitutes. When the substitutes are attractively priced, to give an example, I have seen in India why the audio cassettes got vanquished, because the CD was available for 8 rupees only, which was better in quality, having more storage capacity and 1/4 of the price. Whether the buyer views substitutes available as satisfactory in quality and performance. the cable TV has got replaced by direct to home TV with a conditional access system. Why should I pay 350 rupees per month when I can pay only the channels which I want, and I will stop the channels which I don't want the children to see? Whether the buyer views substitutes available as satisfactory in quality as well as for performance, and how easily the buyers can switch. That is what is the threat of substitutes. Now, so rivalry among existing pair, determinants of the supplier power, determinant of the buyer power, threat of substitutes and new entrants. We have seen all 5 of them. Now we will see competitive intelligence. In today's world, we must have an ability to meet and to beat the competition. So one of the things that we must learn is how to gather competitive intelligence. Providing description of a competitive environment that inform the strategist and guide the strategic formulation. Second, challenge the common assumption about the competitive environment. Third, forecasting future development in a competitive weakness. Fourth, determine when the strategy is no longer viable or sustainable, and indicating when and how strategy should be adjusted to changing competitive environment. So knowing about the competitor is very, very vital. Knowing about the competitor is very, very vital. To reduce cost, 2 tools are very, very important. One is experience curve. Experience curve is a phenomena. Higher the size of cumulative production, lower is the unit cost. I will repeat again. Experience curve is a phenomena. Higher the size of cumulative production, lower is the unit cost. What is cumulative production? Cumulative production is the sum total of, it is sum total of previous years. It is a sum total of previous year's production. So if I make 1 lakh units in 2009, 1 lakh units in 2010, 1 lakh units in 2011, 2 lakh units in 2012, the cumulative production in 2012 is 2 lakh plus 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs. Cumulative is adding previous years. So more experience you have, the unit cost of production comes down. Why does it come down? It is because of 2 reasons. One is economy of scale, and second is a learning curve. First, let us see causes of experience curve. First, improved production by the labor. When you do the same thing again and again, what happens is there is an improvement in terms of your production becomes faster. Second, there is an increased specialization. Third, there is an innovation in the production methods. Fourth is value engineering and fine tuning. What is value engineering? Value engineering is value analysis plus the engineering designs. Value analysis is you have to reduce the cost of the product without affecting PARQ. What does the PARQ stands for? P-A-R-Q. P is for performance, A is for appearance, R is for reliability, and Q is for quality. So without touching PARQ, you have to reduce the cost, that is value engineering. So if you are keeping close tab of what the customer wants, your designs would improve. One very easy example is, when initially the mobiles came, they were very thick, very heavy. With the result, if you keep your mobile in the pocket, there used to be pressure on your pocket. Many times the pocket used to give away. But today's mobiles have become lighter. The edges of the mobile have become rounded, with the result your pocket does not get torn. This is value engineering. Balancing production line cost and methods and system rationalization. But we have not seen what is economy of scale. Economy of scale is a phenomena. Higher the size of production, lower is a unit cost. Higher the size of production, lower is a unit cost. Why does the cost go down? In any product, there are two types of cost. One is called as a direct cost, one is called as an indirect cost. When you increase the production, the indirect cost gets spread over a larger volume. Second, there is a saving in transportation cost. Third, when you give a bigger order, you can get a bulk discount and you can dictate terms which are favorable to the buyer company. Fourth, the administration cost becomes lower. But to achieve the economy of scale, three things are required. One is standardization, two, variety reduction, and three, codification. So, standardization, variety reduction, and codification, these are the three things which are required to increase the scale of operations. Examples of economy of scale are Reliance Industry, which has got refineries at Jamnagar, are the most profitable refineries in the world because of economy of scale. Huge production reduces the cost, and they are the most profitable refineries in the world. Whereas experience curve, the example is Tata Steel. Tata Steel, which is now 107 years old, has an advantage of experience curve, and that is the reason Tata Steel is the lowest cost producer of steel in the world. So, this is what is the advantage of experience curve. This we have already seen. Okay. Cost leadership. To develop a competitive advantage, the first should produce good quality products at a minimum cost. Now, what is quality? Quality, as per the Japanese, it is a fitness for use. We can't say Nirma doesn't have quality, only Ariel has quality, even Nirma washes. But for its price, it washes well. Prerequisite of a cost leadership is efficient economy of scale. Higher the size of production, lower is the unit cost. Vigorous pursuit of cost reduction from experience. Vigorous pursuit of cost reduction from experience, tight control and overhead controls, and avoidance of marginal customer accounts. Avoidance of marginal customer account. Let's see, how do you get cost leadership? One, with an efficient economy of scale. Higher the size of production, lower is the unit cost. Second, vigorous pursuit of cost reduction from experience. And third, tight control and overhead control. Fourth, avoidance of marginal customer accounts. That is what gives you cost leadership. We already seen this repetition. Stability strategy, expansion strategy, mergers, acquisitions, joint ventures and takeovers, and strategic alliance. Retrenchment strategies are turnaround strategies, divestment strategies, and liquidation strategy. Combination strategy uses all the three strategies, such as stability, expansion, and retrenchment grant strategies. A repetition again, a stability strategy. Managers pursue the stability strategy when they feel that the enterprises has been performing well and wish to maintain the same trend in the subsequent years. It may be used when the management is not interested in taking risk by venturing into unknown terrain. Go for stability strategy. Expansion strategy. When a company wants to grow substantially, when the new opportunities are emerging in the environment, when expansion has the advantage of economy of scale and when the firm has surplus resources and we don't know what to do with the surplus money. But if you can find some area where you can get a higher rate of return than putting the money in the bank, or there is a synergy effect is 2 plus 2 is equal to 5 effect, then you go for expansion. Expansion with intensification. Firm selecting an intensification concentrates all the primary line of business and looks for ways to meet its growth objectives. It is concentration strategy. A firm goes for a concentration strategy when, 1, it wants to sell more to the existing customer. 2, secondly, it wants to make a non-user into a user. 3, it wants to woo or attract competitors' customers. So what are the 3 basic ways of concentration or intensification? 3 methods are: 1, sell more to the existing customer. 2, make a non-user into a user. And 3, woo the competitors' customers. We will take one example from the services industry, one example from FMCG products, how you can use intensification or you can use concentration as a strategy. Suppose I want to increase the sale of toothpaste by using concentration strategy. How to do it? And I want to make my existing customer who is going by the airline my permanent customer. How to use concentration strategy? In a toothpaste industry, what I can do is, generally when you take the toothpaste from end of the toothbrush to the end of the toothbrush, our toothbrush is like this. We will put the toothpaste here, cut it here on the same toothbrush. Now these points, actually they are supposed to clean between the teeth, but what do they do additionally? This part gets filled up with the toothpaste. So when you brush your teeth, this much of extra toothpaste get consumed. Or teach the children in the school to brush the teeth after every meal. What will happen? Your sale of toothpaste will double. What is it? It is intensification or concentration strategy. Suppose I want to sell the tickets of airline to the existing customer. What I can do is, I can give them a frequent flyer program. When you give a frequent flyer program, to avail those air miles, what will happen? They will go by the same airlines to get some miles. Now these miles can be, you can buy something from it and vice versa. You can go to some supermarket, buy 10,000 rupees worth of goods, and for those 10,000 miles you will get miles. Or I can surrender the mile and buy goods. So essentially I will go by the same airlines to get the air miles. What is it? It's a concentration strategy. Second is to make a non-user into a user. I want to sell toothpaste to such people who don't use toothpaste. For example, I want to go and sell the toothpaste in a village. The villagers, do they use a toothpaste? They use datun. What they do is they cut a neem tree's twig, chew it and make it into brush and clean it with the twig of a neem tree or a babul tree. Because neem and babul has resins, and when you make a brush, it really nicely cleans between the teeth. A villager also sees the advertisement. He says, yes, I want to buy a toothpaste, but I can't afford it. So if I give him an affordable toothpaste and an affordable toothbrush, but he says, no, when I use a babul or a neem twig, Actually, it has got antibacterial properties. My teeth really become very clean. So, put an extract of a neem tree into a toothpaste or a babool instead in a toothpaste. Make the packaging very, very affordable. A 10 rupees toothpaste with a 10 rupees toothbrush will be affordable even to a villager. A non-user will become a user. Same with the airline only. I want to sell an air ticket to a person who goes by second AC or a first class. I want to woo him, I want to induce him to go by the airline. I will convince him that if you go by the airline, you will go faster, you will go fresher. So my target is to go in the railways, or I will go to hotels, like Tatas have a hotel by the name Ginger. Ginger hotel costs 2,500 rupees a day. So I will make a reciprocal arrangement. If you go in a, if you are staying in a Ginger, show that receipt, we will give a 10% discount. Ginger hotel, if you show a boarding card, we will give a 10% discount. So this is the way I will make a non-user into a user. One easy way, now only yesterday, we saw now, earlier there were twin blade technology. Now Gillette has come with 3 blades. 3 blades will have a more closer shave. But I will not use it unless I experience it. So they are selling it at a big discount on the roads. Package of 3-bale razors, shaving cream is at a very affordable price. So once I experience that 3 blades razor actually gives a closer shave, I will next time buy I will have a razor, but what I will not have will be the blades. Blades I will have to keep buying. What is it? A non-user of a 3 blades now will become a user. There is a motorcycle by the name Harley Davidson. The Harley Davidson motorcycle starts with 5.5 lakh rupees. So who is going to buy a 5.5 lakh rupees? Because in India you can get a car in that same price. But in the area like Andhra, what they do is they give an experience, give a test ride, and when you ride that motorcycle, you get the power feel of that motorcycle. Many who can stay in Andhra, staying in a crore rupees house, can easily buy the vehicle also. It is making a non-user into a user. The last is wooing the competitor's customers. How can you woo the competitor's customer? One way to do it is return any wrapper of any toothpaste or any soap and get a 20% discount. I will give you an example. There is a soap by the name Godrej number 1. If you use that soap, because it has the highest total fatty index in that category, once you use it, you will realize that your skin will become like a petal. So how to induce it to use it once? Once you use it, you will say, I will use it again. So what they do is, any wrapper of any soap, if you return it, 25% discount. So once or give it in hotels, a small piece of, a small soap, once I take a bath with it, yes, this is very nice, I must buy it. So I am wooing a Hammam customer into a Godrej customer. Return any TV and on a Samsung TV get a big discount. It is wooing the competitor's customer. That is expansion with the intensification or concentration. Igor Insaf's product market expansion grid basically says, Igor Insaf, there are 4 distinct ways of market expansion. One is market penetration. What is market penetration? Give the existing product in the current market. Give the existing product in a current market. Only thing is, you can reduce the cost so that your customer base becomes bigger. Second is market development. The firm seeks growth by targeting existing product but in a new market. The firm seeks growth by targeting existing product in a new market. You can go for a territorial expansion, or you can select a new channel of distribution. Third is product development. The firm develops a new product targeted to its existing market segment. So, new products in an existing segment is a product development. Diversification is the firm grows by diversing into a new business by developing new products for the new markets. New products for the new market is diversification. New product for the existing market is product development. Existing product for the current market is market penetration, go with a lower cost, and existing product in a new market is market development. These are the 4 ways of market expansion as per Igor Ansoff. Igor Ansoff. In today's world, in many areas, you can have the economy of scale by international expansion. For example, Tata Steel, Tata Motors, Bajaj Auto, almost 50% of the production is exported only. Without the global market, they will never be able to do adequate business. Last month, in the month of September, Bajaj Auto exported 1.71 lakh motorcycles to the world, almost 45% of their production. So, what are the parts? Export, licensing and joint ventures. Export, licensing and joint venture. What is licensing? You allow a licensing partner to produce your product or a service, but he pays you a license fee. For example, all over India, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, they have their license partner who have bottling plants to manufacture Pepsi and Coca-Cola, that is licensing. JVs or joint ventures, which you have already seen. Joint ventures are a combination of 2 or more firms which come together either for a project or for a time frame or for a task. Okay. In strategic alternatives, we have seen first economy of scale, which is higher the size of production, lower is the unit cost, which you get it from 1, standardization, variety reduction and codification. The economy of scale, it comes because 1, in any cost there are 2 costs, direct cost and indirect cost. The indirect cost gets spread over a larger volume. Second, you get bulk discounts. Third, you get better terms and conditions. And fourth, administration cost dramatically reduces. So, economy of scale, higher the size of production, lower is the unit cost. Typically, if you increase the production by 300%, the unit cost of production comes down by 29.9%. Example of economy of scale in the world is 1, Reliance Industry, its Jamnagar factories, refineries are the world's biggest. They are world's biggest. With the result, they are the highest profit makers in the world. And the Chinese crush the world using economy of scale. Why can't we beat the Chinese? It becomes difficult because the Chinese textile mills are commonly is 10,000 looms, whereas Indian textile mills are only 400 looms. So, if you increase the size of our textile mills, we can easily take on the Chinese. We have also seen experience curve. Experience curve is a phenomena. Higher the size of cumulative production, lower is the unit cost. Higher the size of cumulative production. Here, it is a combination of economy of scale and the learning curves. economy of scale we have just discussed. Learning curve is a phenomena. When you do something repeatedly, your speed increases and your mistakes, that is your rejection, decreases. And if you keep our eyes and ears open and take a customer feedback, the designs improve. With the result, there is a permanent reduction in cost. The Indian companies which has got advantage of an experience curve is Tata Steel, now almost 108 years